Hi, and welcome to another episode of our In Dialogue series at the Louisiana Children's Museum. We were gone for a while, but we're back. And in the meantime, we've had some new people join our team, so we're really excited to talk to you about some restructuring in our impact areas and to introduce you to Delaney Campo, our new Health and Wellness Director.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so glad you're here every day, but also on this interview.
Of course, yes.
So Delaney, we have impact area focus areas here. We have early learning, which we have our wonderful Play With Me in First 1,000 Days. We have culture and heritage, and you can see that. We just had an amazing Family Folk Life Festival this past weekend, and cultural programming all year long. We also have sustainability in the environment. We do have a environmental rescue coming up November 2nd, Mudfest, a lot of things with the Living with Water and the sedimentation table. And we really are trying to put a lot more focus on our fourth one, which is where you come in, health and wellness.
Yes.
What is health and wellness, and why is this important to Louisiana Children's Museum?
Yeah, health and wellness it encompasses a lot, right? So not just our physical health, but also our mental, emotional, spiritual health, like whatever that looks like for you and your family, so that you can really engage with your whole self and not just, one small element. It's really important in Louisiana, especially because we have one of the highest rates of parental stress. We've got a lot of ways to go when it comes to health in our state. So I'm really happy to be here and promote that.
And you said parental because, of course, we're worried about the kiddos. We want to make sure that they're healthy, and we know that the trauma levels in New Orleans are sky high. But tell us recently about what we know about parental and caregiver stress.
Yeah, so the Surgeon General's most recent advisory was about parents being under pressure. He said that in the recent years, especially post-pandemic, there's been a lot of stress on parents, and that's been affecting child wellness as well.
I mean, how can it not?
Right.
Yeah. And, it's October, so the holidays are coming up too. So we know that a lot of stress is going to ramp up. And so we're here to talk to you about that stress. Delaney, you have some great programming that's coming up for health and wellness. But before we get into the programming, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Yeah, so I am from South Louisiana. My parents are from Houma. I've got family in Lake Charles. My husband's family is from Shell Beach. So I feel really, really connected to this place, and went to LSU for undergrad, but I got a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. I currently work as a counselor, but I've worked in the past as a teacher at a high school, but also as a school counselor. So I have a lot of experience in education and in the mental health space. So I'm excited to bring both of those together in this role.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. We were doing a lot of programming with health. Acorn has healthy foods. We promote healthy eating, but we were missing some of the wellness part of it. And so already you've come up with some great programming here at the museum. How long have you been here?
3 months.
3 months. Already I'm like, yes, let's do that. But you also have some ideas based on what parents have told you. So tell us about your survey.
Right, yeah. So one of the first things I wanted to do when I got here was hear from the parents about how they're doing, especially after seeing and reading the Surgeon General's advisory, because we know how important caregiver wellness is for children. So a lot of parents had some pretty generally good responses. It sounds like from the people who have responded to our survey so far that y'all are doing well overall, but there are some areas that you can improve. So a lot of parents said that they were somewhat dissatisfied with their amount of personal time. Getting support can be difficult when it comes to caregiving. They said time is a big constraint. So we had a lot of that, but I was really pleased to see that people feel like they're doing well overall, but it sounds like there are some areas that they can learn more.
Yeah, and you've had like almost 80 people respond to this survey. Can they still take this survey?
Yes, we're going to keep it live for as long as we want.
Yeah, I mean, because we want to learn from you as much as possible. We do want these to be based on the expressed needs of parents and caregivers. So right now it's gone through First 1,000 Days families, members, but also we're trying to get it out to everybody who is either coming to LCM or hasn't come yet, and we want you here for some of this programming, we really want y'all to see that this is a place for those impact areas. Of course, it's a place for play. It's a place to learn while you play. But these impact areas are important to us because it means where we want to make an impact with our children and our families in New Orleans. So I know that you told me some of the themes that are rising to the top are like emotional regulation,
Right.
building confidence. So with those themes, we're going to have in dialogue sessions. We're going to keep this monthly series and have experts come in to talk to parents and caregivers about these topics. But what else are we going to be doing?
Yeah, so I would love to initiate monthly workshops where we invite people not just to watch these videos, which are wonderful, but also to come in and learn from the experts themselves and bring your kids and have, either parallel activities happening for parents and children or workshops where you and your child are learning together. Because I think that that's really important. Like there's a restorative element of play that I think we forget as adults. And it's so easy to see our kids enjoying the museum and enjoying our beautiful scenery and our fun exhibits, but there's a lot of learning and attachment and connection that can happen if we're aware and we know how to kind of engage in these things that we already have.
So if I want to learn more about your programming, do I just check the website?
Yes, you can certainly check the website. Check our social media. I tell people all the time, like, if you want to know what's going on at LCM that day, we should have some kind of post about it.
Yes, yeah, we have our social media post, but I know November. This is recorded, so it might be past November when you watch this. But November, we have a lot of great programming coming up
Right.
In your impact area. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of those?
Yeah, so November 13th is World Kindness Day. So we wanted to go into our edible garden and grow kindness, seeds of kindness. So that was something that we will talk about and kind of learn how kindness works and it affects our brain. There is psychology behind kindness, right? There's dopamine responses when we see something that we do affecting another person in a positive way. So we want to kind of talk about that in a tangible way by looking at the way that seeds change from a little kind of grain to a flower or a food. So yeah, that's one thing that we'll be doing. We'll also be working with a coach and mental health expert, and he will be doing a workshop at the end of November talking about emotional regulation in sports. So be on the lookout for more information about that program, but we're really excited about bringing in David Durand for that.
Yeah, we're going to have some experts talk about emotional regulation, talk about building confidence, talking about whatever it is that you are telling us that you want to hear about. So please take the survey; it's on our website, and or talk to the staff here and tell them that we're always here listening. We have play facilitators who are facilitating play, impact area directors who are doing demonstrations. Tell us a little bit about your areas here. What are your galleries?
Yes, so I am the area director of Follow That Food and the Edible Garden. So those are my two areas. Follow That Food is a great place for you to engage with your kid. There's so many ways for you to connect with your child in that area. It's so fun, especially with food and talking about healthy eating, talking about the ways that food is prevalent in your family, prevalent in South Louisiana. We have different cards in our Follow That Food that are recipe cards. So you can even, like, if you can't think of anything, pull out one of the recipe cards and go make a gumbo, or crawfish, and then maybe talk to your kid. Like, remember when we went to Aunt so-and-so's house last April for the crawfish boil? How was that for you? Was that fun? Kind of talking to them in that way and really being engaging, because I think that's another thing, is really just that connection piece. I know that we are all so busy, especially parents. So when you're here, take that time, even just 5 minutes of the time that you're here, right, to play.
Right.
And be engaged with your children. And then we also have the edible garden. So we have a beautiful outdoor space here at LCM. And our garden is a place where we want to revitalize. Right now, we just had a really awesome group of volunteers come and help us kind of pruned stuff back, so we're ready to start planting again.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in your gallery, you mentioned these cards. So we're Reggio Emilia inspired, and so we're often talking to parents about open-ended questions. And I know our dialogue director, Holly Dalfarez, is going to help our staff with those open-ended questions in each gallery. But those cards are right there. Like the parents can just read. Maybe it's fractions, maybe it's recipes that you can talk about. But something you just mentioned, I wanted to remind everybody. When the education team gets together, Delaney's not working in a silo trying to figure out what to do and follow that food. The sustainability and learning director is coming in to talk about, have you tried this with science? Have you tried this with math? And then the culture and heritage director is like, you could talk about food and the history of food. So it's a great think tank of experts, and we really want to infuse those impact areas and also STEM, literacy, and the arts as much as possible, so that you're getting all of this wealth of play and learning, but it's not just willy-nilly. We really do take this seriously, and we do have these robust meetings where our impact area directors are coming up with wonderful ideas, making great partnerships. I know you've been working on some partnerships recently too.
Yes.
Are you excited about any of these partnerships that you'd like to talk to us about?
Yeah, definitely. So we were just at the Youth Run NOLA Family Fun Run, so we're going to do our best to do programming with them. We had conversations with Loyola's Play Therapy Center. So yeah, we're really looking for partnerships in the community that are having similar mission, really, of promoting the wellness of children, whether that's physical wellness, emotional wellness. And yeah, we're already doing a lot as well with our outreach program. So I'm also the supervisor for the Play Power program. We are in 3 local schools, so Bricolage, Success at Thurgood Marshall, and we're newly at the Leah Chase School. And we do play-based social emotional lessons almost every day of the week in these schools. And it's been so beautiful to go into these schools and see the kids' excitement at seeing our educators and really giving them the space in an educational setting to express themselves emotionally.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Play Power, and I'm glad you mentioned how beautiful it is, because, sometimes we want to not talk about social emotional learning, but it's really important, and it's also an opportunity to make sure the kids have the language to express themselves. All of our kids, but especially when we go into this particular program. What really strikes me about this program is that it was a gift from the Children's Museum of Manhattan, and it was given to us after Hurricane Katrina to help us deal with the aftermath of Katrina, but they had a similar program to deal with the aftermath of 9/11. And so that when I see that program still going on, it really just gives me goosebumps, because, and we're still dealing with these big traumatic things in our community, and seeing it in other communities as well. But yes, we're glad that you're part of Play Power with your amazing Play Power educators, Carolyn and Mazzotti. And we're in a new school, so a school that just started. So we're excited to see the progress there as well.
Yeah.
What else are you looking forward to as the new health and wellness director at LCM?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to making some of the things that you all told us in the survey happen. So some of the areas where we said there was a lot of stress was support and time and connection maybe. So really trying to brainstorm and facilitate activities and workshops and programs here at LCM to support your role as a caregiver, which is the most important role in a child's life. Like they're with their teachers a lot, they're with their friends a lot, but they're with you the most. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to help you be the best parent that you can be. So yeah, again, with that, whether that's monthly workshops or parents' night out or side-by-side play opportunities that really you can bring home with you, because we want to keep the learning going beyond the big blue doors here at LCM.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that someone on the survey said, I see this as a place to play. I've never thought of it as a place for wellness, and that's why we're having this conversation, to invite you in to realize that this massive, beautiful building in the middle of City Park is for everyone in our community. And also, it's time for us to really share the story about what we're doing with our impact area directors and our impact areas at LCM.
Yeah. And I think that's something like Dr. Blaze said earlier, ask us questions. If you're having trouble engaging in a certain area of the museum, ask us questions. There are people there on the floor in each area, really to be there to facilitate your child's play, but also your learning. One of my favorite things in the Follow That Food Gallery is the Mr. Okra truck. Mr. Okra was a local produce vendor, and he used to drive his truck around. And if you're listening closely, you can even hear his recorded voice on the truck. And Dr. Bob painted our truck just like he had painted Mr. Okra's truck. So it's really like there are these little pockets of New Orleans built into every part of LCM.
Yeah, and we're also going to have our In Dialogue director, Holly Delfrez, and I, and of course you and all the impact area directors here, are going to have a workshop for parents that we talked to you all about Reggio Emilia. We had some parents here from Atlanta last weekend, and they were like, wait, they sat down in the studio with me like, wait, what's Reggio Emilia? What's going on here? So they just really wanted to know.
Right.
And so we decided that we were going to have a workshop for parents, and we're really excited about it. And we're going to give them an interactive tour, show them all of the like Reggio aspects of our museum and ways in which they can really deeply engage with their children or not.
Right.
Like follow that food.
Right.
You might just want to pretend eat, but you could also dig a little bit deeper and talk about health and wellness and things like that. And the history of New Orleans.
Right.
Yeah.
I think another thing that you said that is important is that, we're not judging you, right? So like we're talking a lot about like engage with your kids and health and wellness and all these like learning areas. It can be exhausting
absolutely
to keep up with, for sure. I mean, that's what we've been talking about, right? Is like just this parental stress. So the other reason why we have play facilitators and why we have impact area directors making these programs is because we want to make this a low stress environment for you. Because we know how much time you don't have,
right.
And you're choosing to bring yourself and your children here. So we want to make this an experience not just for your kids but also for you, and have it be restful and enjoyable and fun.
Yeah, we can determine after a little bit of conversation in the galleries, you are here because you want to play with your kid. It's your quality time day. Or you've been working all day and you need a break and they need to go play a little bit. So we can still figure that out and either go and spend most of the time talking to your kiddo, talking to you, and just having a really good conversation about what we're doing here. And having, like you said, we want to meet the people in our community. So we want to just talk to you and give you some tidbits that we know, especially with your extensive background. Like you're like, hey, have you ever thought about, and just having some conversations.
Right.
And the way that you are and the other impact area directors are training our play facilitators and making sure that they have some way to engage with kids. We talk about the pedagogy of listening. Sometimes we're engaging and it doesn't even look like we're engaging. Like we're listening to the conversations the kids are having and we're asking them open-ended questions. So it's a lot of fun for us because there's never a dull moment when you get to ask children questions about their play. And of course, sometimes we're like, they're in the flow, let's leave them alone, let them play. But it's all fun.
Right.
And we are like extremely happy that you're here.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to more of your programming. But so far, your ideas have just been like, pop, pop, pop. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say for the future of health and wellness?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that came to mind when you were kind of explaining the pedagogy of play and listening was earlier, and I think maybe last month, we did a trauma-informed education workshop. And we want to really bolster that kind of knowledge, right? So like just letting kids be kids while also knowing that is what's healing, with that kind of trauma-informed approach. I'm really looking forward to continuing to grow this, sentiment that LCM is a place for learning for you, for your children. This is a place for children, and we want to make sure that we are a beacon of hope in the city, because I know that as a resident of the city, it can be really difficult sometimes to be here, but it's also a beautiful, lovely, enchanting place to be, and we want to make sure that we make it that way for our kids too. So that's why we're talking about all of these things, health and wellness, but also early learning, also arts and culture and heritage, and also sustainability, because we want to keep New Orleans around forever, as much as we can. And as the world changes, as New Orleans changes, we want to make sure that we are helping our kids cope with that. So that's really the idea that we have moving forward, is to kind of keep the future in mind, but also be grounded in, the Reggio Emilia approach to education, grounded in curiosity, grounded in wonder and play and fun.
I'm not saying anything else after that. That was perfect. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you so much for being here today and relaunching our In Dialogue series so that we can really touch upon the things that parents want to hear about. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.